All right, welcome back to Grit Gym, guys. I've got Don Saladino here. Don is he's I don't want to call him the superhero trainer, but he's kind of the anti-hero trainer at this point. He's trained Wolverine, trained Deadpool, trained Black Widow. By that I mean Ryan Reynolds, Scarlett Johansson, Hugh Jackman. He never shies away from showing his abs also. And one of the things I like most about him, he's a hardcore family man. So he gets it. I don't know how you do this, Don, but you get it all in, like all the things. It's pretty cool.
Well, first off, thanks for having me on, Adam. It's really a pleasure, and love what you're doing on your podcast. Yeah, I mean, being a parent, I was just talking about it with my head of sales who just walked out of the office a few minutes ago. Being a parent's tough. It really is. It starts getting really the different challenges in different stages as my daughter and son gets older and it's great. I mean, there's nothing that makes me happier in life than my kids. It's my number one priority. I mean, my wife, of course, and it comes first. But, you start seeing it. My daughter's hitting that age of 11 and, watching her become a little more emotional. And my son's growing up now. I'm throwing him in the pool the other day and I'm like, oh my God, you're getting almost too big for me to throw. Yeah. And when I say it's tough, it's not in a negative thing. It's just, there's new challenges being presented to you every day. And it really, as a parent, forces you to have to really sit down and think, strategize, really strategize on how you have to present things to them. As I like to say.
I would imagine you really got to get on the same page with your significant other on the whole. Like, I just think, I don't have kids yet. Rachel and I don't have them, but just like, I think about that and it's like, holy crap. Like the level of clarity that you'd have to have walking into that scenario would be.
Fortunately, Mel and I, my wife Melissa and I are on the same page, and we're definitely each other's biggest support system. So, at times we'll kind of look at each other, we'll give each other a thumbs up, like you handled that really well. Rarely are we turning around saying, you didn't handle that the right way. I think when that happens is if we kind of lose our cool, and any parent's going to yell or scream, and you turn around, and you're like, all right, did I really have to do that? Sure. I told them to put their food in the sink. What was it, 500 times so far? And they keep saying, I forgot. And you're just like, of course you forgot. I'm going to keep telling you because that's what I do. So it gets frustrating. And then you come home and you have a bad day or something happens. And then you got to deal with, suddenly calming down and suddenly just being a little bit more reserved. Or you need a few minutes and you're just like, oh my God, I want to go run around the block about 100 times. No, it gets challenging.
There's I think this could be with anything, exercise, nutrition, everything. Like you're not supposed to do it perfect. That's not the point, right?
Yeah. I mean, it never is. I mean, it's almost, I was talking to Charlie Weingroff about this the other day. Like as we get more and more into our careers, we start realizing that, less and less is needed. The days of like that Chinese menu program design where you're trying to include every exercise in your program. Yeah. I remember doing this 15 years ago and it's like, and now it's like some workouts you come in, it's like, wow, the deadlift, the squat, the bench, the pull-up, they really take care of a lot of stuff. I'm not saying it's just, those are just my workouts. No, it always changes, but less is more. I think that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. At some point you can't just keep on working hard.
Yeah. You got to work smart. This perfect example is like, I train all year long. I don't really have an off season. I don't have an in season. It's just, it's consistent all year long. And the reason why my body's always felt good is because I mix my programming up probably every month to 4 months, depending on the training block that I'm in. And I always use the first week. That's kind of my deload. And I'm kind of coming in at a 70% intensity. And my body always feels good. But this last few weeks, I think it was just, my cover of muscle and fitness prep and all this stuff and just a really productive but long first half of the year. And I was like, I need a week off. And I took a week off and I'm like, wow, I've never done this. I'm going to take another week off. So I'm in the middle of 2 weeks off. Which I can tell you, I probably did that when I broke my ribs, 12 years ago, maybe 2 weeks off in a row. And I felt great when I came back. And to be honest with you, I feel great now. And I'm just trying to, I'm more mature now so I can do it. But, we need to hit the reset button once in a while.
Yeah, seriously. I think the last time I took 2 weeks off was probably when I broke my nose like a dozen times. But the last time that I broke it real bad. And I couldn't breathe out of my nose anymore. So I got it fixed. I had to take 2 weeks off. I think that's probably the last time that I did that. But that's college.
You know what? It's not something, and I'm not, well, should I do that? I'm like, I don't even know how to answer that. It depends on your lifestyle, as you know. It depends on how you're resting, how you're recovering. And August is an easy month because it's just like, all right, we're coming into the fall. I know the foot's going to be on the gas. I know I got some shoots coming up and some good stuff coming up. So, I'm just like, let my hair down a little bit. Had a couple of beers over the weekend, like relax a little bit, be a normal human being, and it's fun. It's fun.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah, no, I think that's huge. Well, we kind of skipped over this. Can you kind of introduce yourself a little bit and give the tribe a little bit of your background and why you do what you do?
So my name is Don Saladino, and I started as a trainer in New York City back in 1999. I started my own personal training business in 2000. Got funded to open my first club down in Soho called Drive 495 in 2000. It was really 2003, 2004. The club opened by about 2005, 2006. And since then, I started and sold a digital company. I took over and sold another gym. Started another digital platform as of recently. Got a very cool licensing deal in play right now, and just I'm in the fitness business. I mean, I can't really describe what I do because I wouldn't say I'm necessarily a trainer anymore. Of course, I'm always taking courses. I still coach, but I work for Garden of Life. I work for Epicure, a food delivery service. I created the Garden of Life sport line. I just got signed on to come work for On Running. They're going to launch a whole cross training platform, and I'm going to be their guy for that. Yeah, so it's exciting stuff. So I'm really paralleling a lot of what I do in the gym and in the gym business with these other brands, and it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. Because I mean, the more that you can get a good message out there, the better. And collaboration is obviously the way to do it.
I always refer to it as like pillars. So like I have my gym, which is my trunk. It's like the tree trunk, and then I have all my tree branches, and they all feed each other. It's even the food service. People are like, "Well, how are you taking on this work?" I'm like, "Well, this has got to serve. I have to do nutrition and cooking in my social media. It's one of my pillars. So this is the company I chose to do it with because I think they're one of the best. So if not the best. So it all feeds the beast.
That's a good way to say it. Yeah, just coming back to the middle, but. So what got you into this originally? Like why guys kind of get into it for a few different reasons. It's like either they want to get big and strong so they can track a girl, or they want to get big and strong to deal with the bully, or they, whatever their reasons are. What were yours?
Well, I think it started for me in second grade. I had a bad, one of the things that you alluded to, I had a bad hearing problem, stuttering problem. I think there was insecurities as a young kid. Sure. And I really took a liking to sports. I got really good at baseball, which I went up to play in Division I in college. And I think before that, I started weight training. And between the fact that I knew it was helping out my game, and I knew it was helping me with the ladies, it definitely was very motivating as a 16-year-old. Then it became somewhat of a passion/obsession in college. I was majoring in business, and I was minoring in fitness, nutrition, and supplementation. I was just reading everything I could get my hands on, and I was just trying to learn from whoever I could get around who knew a little bit more than me. And that was it. I mean, when I graduated college, it was me. I tell the story all the time. I had a conversation with my mother, and she said, I said, what am I going to do? I'm trying to figure it out. Baseball's not working out. She's like, become one of those trainers. And I'm like, they don't make money.
Wait, your mom told you to become a trainer?
Yeah.
That is so the opposite of everybody else.
She's very happy about that decision now. I mean, it was obviously a really, really good move. I mean, she was the one, I think, who gave me I knew I wanted to do it, but she gave me some comfort in making that decision. I was more worried about the money at the time. And she said this to me once, and I never looked back. It was, you'll figure it out. You've always been good at what you've done, and the money, if you're that in love with this, the money's going to come. Just focus on what you got to do day to day out. It was the best advice I think she's ever given me. Yeah. And that's not true. She's given me a lot of good advice, but and I think it really came down to it. I was just talking to a young kid who came in here a few minutes ago. Who's kind of coming up in the ranks and trying to figure out what he's doing. And I said, listen, man, coaching, just be great that hour. Like, go in there and give your client, give the person, give them value. Turn something that they would consider a luxury into a necessity. Yeah. And if you can do that, you can just make it all about that hour, it's going to happen. That's all I did. And now looking back on it, I was like, oh my God, every session I go into, it was about the client. It was about giving them the best session. Whether it was 19 years ago or whether it was this morning, it's about giving them what they need that day. And because of that, that's how I opened the door for a lot of these opportunities and being around the right people. And yes, the celebrity end, if you want to throw that in there, which is always, it's always a big part of my business.
Yeah.
But it's business. I want to train celebs. I'm like, do you want to train celebs? Do you want to make money? What do you want to do? If it leads to money, it's all good. But don't jump into wanting to be to train celebrities because they're celebrities. They're normal people. They really are. So
yeah, they have all the you have way more in common with a celebrity than you have different.
Yeah. Anyone. I mean, listen, they have bad days. I see them fight. I see they have children. They have to discipline their kids. They come in. They have insecurities like anyone else. They don't think they look good at times. I'm like, wow, it sounds like us every day of our lives. I've
never trained celebrities, but I train enough professional athletes where I'm just like they're no different. They just everybody's like, oh, they have to be different. Well, they are different in the freaky stuff that they can do on a court or a mat or a field, but otherwise, they got the same insecurities, same fears, same passion, same desires.
Hands down, where it definitely got a little strange for me to witness was the fans, and they would see their favorite celebrity in a movie role, and they would envision them being like that outside of that role. So, normally, I'm just using him as an example. I'm not saying this is what happened, but Ryan Reynolds playing Deadpool, someone runs into him on the street, they think he's Deadpool. I'm like, no, he's not Deadpool. He's Ryan. He's father too. He's husband, and he's a great dude. So, that's for me. That's witnessing it would get a little weird. People would run them up to someone on the street, and they would start talking to that person as if they were in the movie, 10 years ago that they saw him in. He's not Van Wilder. He's Ryan. So that's to me that's what would get a little weird. But they know how to handle it, and that's part of the job.
I would think that would get so old. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know how they do it. It would just it would drive me nuts. It's all the pictures of Adam Sandler from paparazzi are always like, why are you taking a picture of me? I just imagine it being like that all the time.
It's part of the game, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm not in it. I'm glad I'm glad
I'm the coaching end of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on the coaching, and I love it. I mean, some people ask me, have you ever wanted to act? And I'm like, no, I don't want to act. I want to be in fitness. I want to do what I'm doing. I want to continue to grow, and I want my business to be prosperous, and I want to be a great dad, and I want to watch my kids grow up, and I want to be there for those big moments, and be a great husband, and I want to do all that stuff. So, it's just acting was not a passion for me, and it's not something I'm good at. So,
I don't know. I couldn't do it. I can't do something. I have a hard enough time just in person doing something that I feel like I can't do things that aren't genuine.
Yeah.
It's like it would hurt me inside. I couldn't.
Yeah.
It drive me nuts.
Yeah, I totally agree.
So you just mentioned getting it in with your kids, making sure that that's your number one. How do you really get clear with your day, with your week, with your time, with your family to get it all in?
Everything's honestly, it sounds terrible, but I really have to plan a lot of stuff. I mean, from the moment I wake up, my day takes place on my schedule on my iPhone, and I have I kind of have a weekly planner.
Sure.
An old school written planner that I'm always marking down. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, now
I go. And so I actually use two things. I use one for set appointments, and I use another one for tasks. I just do it that way. And I know that when I get home, I'm always if my son. I have a rule. If my son asks me at any point, Dad, I want to have a catch, I say, okay. I don't care how tired I am. I go have a catch, even just for 5-10 minutes. I just go do it. And sometimes he asks, and I'm like, oh, God, I'm exhausted, but I'll go do it. And within a few minutes, I'm kind of getting into the zone with him, and I'm watching his run, and I'm watching his arm get stronger, and it gets fun. And the same with my daughter. But you really got to plan a lot when you're working in New York City, and you're in this high go environment. You've got all these different things coming at you. You've got I got a call right after this with the food delivery company to go through social media, and I've got my Epicure team coming in at 3:00, and we got to go through stuff for almost 2 hours of content. It's just my day is literally like one thing after the other, and it's my train ride in and my train ride out, which most people say, wow, that must suck. No, that's really when I can help myself get organized, handle a lot of my social media. So.
We're in Iowa, so people might not understand what you just said, but like I get it. But like
New York City, New York City. So I have a commute every day where I will drive to the train, which takes I either take a car in 2 to 3 mornings a week, or I take a train in 2-3 mornings a week, however it really pans out. And I drive to the train, which is 10 minutes, and then I have a 50-minute train ride into the city. It's a express train early in the morning.
5-0 or 1-5?
5-0. That's what 5-0. And then I get off. I get on the subway, and then so door to door, I'm about an hour 20 each way.
Yeah.
Roughly. And so hour 20, you're looking at about 240, 245 if everything's timed out right. Yeah. And most people look at that and go, "Oh my God, it's terrible." It's not. It's an opportunity for me to be really productive, and it's a way that I'm able to kind of organize things in my life and do a lot of social media. People are like, "Well, how do you have time to do social media?" I'm like, "Because I have a nice commute every day." So, and I kind of set it up in my work.
Turned it into an asset almost.
Oh my God, yeah, it's almost time that I need. So when I get off the train at night, I'm not sitting there trying to catch up on emails.
Yeah. And
then I can dedicate myself to my family, whatever hour and a half I might have with them. I'm still there. I'm still present.
Right. Yeah. See, I think that's like a huge mindset thing right there. That you've flipped it from, oh, this sucks. You could have just done 10 years of getting on that train and getting off that train and been like, oh, this blows. Or you could have turned it into something productive, right?
Yeah, that's how I've learned that you just can't. I mean, listen, things in life that suck are going to jump out at you at all times. Right? Unfortunately, you hear these terrible stories and deaths, and a car wreck in Jersey a few weeks ago of a family getting wiped out. You're like, all right, what am I complaining about right now? Like, okay, like no big deal. let's move on. So I'm really trying to do. I mean, you hear people talk about being grateful, gratitude. Ben Pekulski is a buddy of mine. I don't know if you've heard of him. He's at my 40 gym down in Florida, and he's going to be up here. And I watched a little post he put up about daily things that he tries to hit. And one of them was like, I wake up before every meal, I say a prayer of gratitude. And I thought about that. I'm like, wow, like if you can program yourself every day to be thankful, your energy is going to be so much different. And I'm not perfect at it. Like I'm just, I do it maybe.
I isn't either.
No one is. I mean, but once or twice a day, I never miss it. I'm saying thank you, no matter how bad that day is. And I really feel like it goes a long way.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. There's like anything that you can do to accumulate some little wins along the way. Like if you can win the day, you're probably, and you can stack those days in a row for a long time, you're probably going to do all right.
You're going to do all right. Yeah. And it's, again, you're going to screw up and it's not going to be perfect, and none of us are. And that's called life, man.
Yeah. So can we jump into a little bit about nutrition, like the stuff that you do to make sure that you have those abs sculpted? And,
yeah, definitely.
And I don't know, day to day, you can go wherever you want with that question.
Yeah, sure, definitely. Well, I do a lot of, I've always done a lot of my own meal prep, or lately my wife's really been helping me out with that, which is a godsend. I do order a lot from Epicure, which is the company I'm working with, and they make sure that my meals are all set. People can check that out, get it, epicure.com. But when I was getting ready for my cover of Muscle and Fitness, I mean, to be honest, I'm never drifting off. I'm never drifting too far off. I always like to say that I'm about 2 weeks out. So if I got a call and I needed to be like cover ready, like magazine cover ready, I would need about 2 weeks to just tighten up a couple things. So when I say tighten up a few things, I mean, get rid of the cheat meal that I might have on the weekend for 2 weeks, maybe up the cardio a little bit if it's even needed, and just really dial in my macros a little bit. And 2 weeks. So when I got the call for the cover of Muscle Fitness, I almost 5 weeks. And all I really did was I dropped my carbohydrate intake from 450, 500 grams a day, which I consume a lot of carbs, to about 300 a day.
Okay, that's significant.
It's still but it's significant, but I'm still getting 300 grams of carbs a day. And I lowered my fats from 125 to about 90. And I kept my protein around 275. And I remember in that time period, I ended up losing 10 pounds.
Did you really?
And I lost that much weight. I went from about 217 to about 207. I lost that much, but I was also holding a little bit of water. We're having a little bit of fun around the holidays. It was Thanksgiving around that time, a little bit of boost. And it really came down to me, just monitoring that carb intake, keeping it at a good point, and really eliminating any little bit of alcohol that I drank, and eliminating cheat meals. So 5 weeks, no cheat meals. And every week it was like, all right. And I called up my buddy, Dr. Ben House, and we were kind of going through some ideas, and I bounced some stuff off of him, and he really gave me he gave me a little bit more confidence to kind of pursue the area I thought I wanted to pursue, and that was not carb depleting. I didn't want to carb deplete this time.
Yeah.
I don't believe in it. I really believe that as an athlete, as someone who's trying to develop this resilient physique, I wanted to show something on a cover that anyone could have, anyone can obtain, not through drugs, not through water depletion or carb depleting, or feeling like complete shit. And almost you hear these stories about bodybuilders passing out. Like, dude, I was playing, like, I play hockey throughout the winter. Like, I was getting ready for a shoot playing 3 games a week. Like, I was on the ice 3 days a week, like skating hard on top of training hard, and I felt great. So my thing with diet is I'm a big believer in the carbohydrate. People ask me about the ketogenic diet or intermittent fasting. I do believe there's a place for all these sort of things, and there's a specific individual, and that's a long conversation. But for general pop, the answer is no. I don't believe that I believe we need to develop this. I like using this word. I don't even know if it's really a word, but resiliency. I mean, can you use that word, resiliency? I mean, a level of.
I make up words on here.
I make up this word. I use this word resiliency, and I don't think it exists, but I'm going to use it. But I think everyone knows what I'm saying. But developing this level of resiliency to where if they go out on the weekend and they decide to have a couple beers or have some ice cream, they're not waking up Monday, gaining 7 pounds, ready to hang themselves. Yeah. And it was the same reason why when I went on my honeymoon 13 years ago to Italy and I ate nothing but pizza, pasta, and gelato, I was in a caloric deficit, and I lost 7 or 8 pounds. Yeah. My wife's looking at me like, how do you lose weight after eating that way? And I'm like, because my body was used to consuming 4,000 calories a day. Right. And even though I ate shitty foods, I consume less. Now, if I did that over a period of time, yes, I'm probably going to put on some body fat. My metabolism's going to slow up. But I'm not saying to do that for 2 or 3 months. I'm saying that if you're going to have a week here or a week there because of a holiday or a vacation and you feel like doing it, do it. If you don't feel like doing it, great. You're better off for your hormones. But a day here and there is not going to get you fat as long as you're really living by those rules and those laws that I live by, 90 to 95% of the time.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think you're spot on and you're obviously proof of it. But like, if you step off of you step off the path, you're one decision back to the path, it's just it's not all like ridiculously complicated.
People honestly, the worst thing ever created was a scale because that's how people quantify success. Like, envision if we never had a scale. Envision if because if I go to the doctor right now, my doctor's not going to say this to me, but I'll get on the scale and he'll be like, "Don, you're 35 pounds overweight." Yeah. No, he's not going to say that to me because my body fat's low and my vitals are great. But if the scale was never created, people would probably go off of how they feel, how their clothes fit, and how they look naked. And I think that's actually probably a pretty good way to gauge things. Like when I'm building a diet for someone and they're like, well, how do you know this is where my macros should be? I'm like, it's a guesstimate. And this is what I recommend you doing based off of all the information you're giving me. This is what I'm giving you. I want you to stick with this for 2 weeks. I don't want any cheats. Yeah. And I want you to tell what's going on. Do you want me to weigh in? We can weigh in each Monday just to keep a gauge on it, just to keep things honest, but we're going to tuck it away. We're not even going to go back to that. Suddenly it's like 8 days in, how are you feeling? Wow, my energy's feeling good. My brain clarity's good. I'm resting a little bit better. And I just brought my belt size down a notch. I'm like, are you strong? Yeah, I'm feeling really strong. Great. Well, is it working? Yeah, it's working. Should I make any changes? Nope. I don't want to make any changes. Like, it's working. Like, let's wait till things start plateauing. Let's see how much change. The problem is everyone just dives in like, all right, well, I'm just going to remove carbs and I'm just going to do this and do something so drastic and crazy because they want to see that needle drop. And 9 out of 10 times, it's not sustainable. There's no way they're able to keep up with that. Because what will happen is someone will get on keto for 2 weeks. Unless you're Ben Pakulski or one of these guys that are so regimented and so disciplined, when you get on the ketogenic diet, and he's all about brain function right now, and he understands his body and when he should be consuming carbohydrates. Yeah. Ben's not going out and blowing it out on eating cheeseburgers on a Saturday. Like, most people go and do that. So if you're using the ketogenic diet as a diet to kind of yo-yo back and forth, oh my God. Yeah. This is the worst thing you could be doing for your body.
Yeah. You picked a hard one to go on. You're gonna drown out. For one, we lose more muscle when we know this about keto is that like you lose more muscle when you're in a caloric deficit and you lose less fat and you gain less muscle when you're on a surplus. So
yes, some people are trying to claim now, some scientists are trying to claim that you can gain muscle on a ketogenic diet. And I'm not there yet to where I've even seen that happen. I don't really know where they're getting that research from. I do know I've had conversations with Dr. Perlmutter, who wrote Grain Brain, who's a brilliant doctor who created a probiotic for Garden of Life called the Doctor Formulated line. And we had a conversation. He said, listen, I do the ketogenic diet as an anti-Alzheimer's protocol. Sure. And in the past, if someone was diagnosed with cancer, there's specific studies that show that, you're ridding the body of glucose and the cancer cells can't expand. And now I'm hearing that that's not even true. So it's like, there's so much, what's the word I'm looking for? There's so much like debate on the information and the science out there. And I'm like, listen, carbs are your energy source. Yeah. The right carbs are the right, yes, get the right carbs in. I don't believe in this if it fits your macros. Like, all right, well, we're going to keep everything down, then we're going to eat complete shit at night, but I hit my macros. I'm like, if you put junk into your body over and over, you are causing stress on your hormones. And I am not worried about how many calories are in the alcoholic beverage you drink if it's once in a while. I'm concerned with the hormone damage that alcohol is making on your body. Not that you're consuming a couple extra 100 calories. You're not going to get fat. You're not going to gain excessive body weight from doing that once in a while. When I go drink every once in a while, I drink, what do you drink? I'm like, I'll drink whatever I want. I'll drink, I'll drink mojitos, margaritas, whatever's good. Like, I don't care. Like, it's not that. It's the hormones.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just like anything. Like when people try to make pizza healthy, it's like, I'm going to cover my pizza in broccoli. It's like, dude, if you're going to eat pizza, just enjoy your pizza.
Dude, your ears must be ringing. I had this conversation Saturday night because my nieces showed up to this little staff party that we're having, and they had pizza with like veggies all over it. And I'm like, what the hell is this? Now, if they enjoy vegetables, eat it. But
yeah, exactly.
I'm getting like meat lovers, I'm getting like something like, I'm getting pizza. I'm not sitting there ordering the gluten-free crust on my pizza unless I have celiacs, which I don't. So, it's all or nothing with it.
Yeah, I totally agree. And hitting your macros, I just think, like, if that's the only thing that matters and we can sit around and we can eat Crisco with a spoon and still pull off what we're trying to pull off, it's like, lost me.
Someone messaged me today and they were like, where should my macros be, like, on your diet, on your playbook diet plan, which I lay out. You go by palm size and fist size and thumb size. And why did you do that? Why didn't you list your macros? And I said, because I want you to fix the other things first that I know you're not doing. Totally. Get rid of the booze. Like, you don't have to completely get rid of the booze, but get rid of it 3 days a week. Like, throw it in maybe every few weeks. Get rid of the shitty food that you're eating several times a week. Maybe move it to one night a week. And then follow my beliefs and follow my, you're going to get your body into, but they're like, no, I want to keep that, but I want to weigh my food. And like, it doesn't make sense. Like, do what I'm telling you to do first. Start with like a minimalistic approach. Less is more, less pressure. Okay, this is the amount of my palm size, the amount of potato I should have, rather than walking around with the scale. Now I can walk around with the scale and I'm fine, but I'm a different breed. Now, if someone really needs to dial things in and they want to do that, absolutely, we're on it. But that's not general pop. They don't need it. Yeah,
I couldn't agree more. The scale just becomes this sort of it's like reinforcing that they're not enough.
Right. Totally agree.
It's like, let me prove to myself that I'm not enough today by stepping on the scale 3 times at morning, noon, and night and hoping that something great happens. It's like, why is that becoming a portion of your self-worth? Like, the scale is literally only measuring your relationship with gravity.
Right. You asked me an open-ended question, and I could talk about this for hours, but I had a buddy of mine recently who said, he takes his shirt off and he goes, you know what, my abs, it was really interesting how he said this. He said, my abs are coming in, like, I don't want to be like completely diced up because I know what that entails, but how do I get how do I get my abs to show a little bit more? And I said, that's interesting. I said, just go through your diet with me. He went through it and it was like, 3 nights a week of booze or, a couple bad meals. And I just cut everything in half. And he was like, that's it? I'm like, just cut it in half and give me 2 weeks. And he hit his goal in 2 weeks. He turned around, he felt less bloating, less inflammation. There was minor change to his body, but it was enough to where visibly I actually saw it. Yeah. And he's like, that's unbelievable. I thought you were going to tell me how to start eating chicken, broccoli, and rice. I'm like, no, I rarely say that to people anymore. But, it's a minimalistic approach. And people try and take this. It's like the New Year's resolution. It's a nightmare. Oh, I'm going to go the next month. I'm going to be perfect. I'm like, listen, if you want to do some sort of a cleanse, detox, call it what you want, fine, as a reset. But sort of things in, like, go from like eating like crap 50% of the time to eating like crap 10% of the time, and see what happens in that week. You'll still stay satiated. You'll still be happy that you're rewarding yourself. And then out of a 365-day-a-year span, rather than cheating half of that, you cheated 10% of that. Your body's going to make a lot of change. People don't want to take that approach. And that's why people can't hold on to their health and wellness goals. That's why they have a tough time with it.
Yeah, yeah. I couldn't agree more. We use the palm thing too, by the way. I just think that's genius because it's just it's pretty much it makes it individualized right away. It's just such a simple thing to do.
It's simple, and who knows? Maybe if I stuck with that completely for my muscle and fitness shoot, like I don't know how much different I really would have looked. Like if I could have dialed it in. Like if I wasn't weighing my food and I was going off of portions, but I was consistent day in and day out, which goes completely against rotational dieting. Like rotational dieting when you're prepping, I don't agree with because you're not allowed.
Too much stuff.
It's too much stuff, and you're not allowed. There's too much variability. Like your body's not going to make change. So I think I probably still could have done what I did in that 5-week span if I didn't weigh it out. If I had to measure by my size of my hand or thumb or whatever.
How much time are you putting into this too? Like, are you putting 18 hours into your nutrition and your meal prep and everything each week? Are you like?
Well, fortunately, I mean, like I said, Epicure's really helping me out a lot now, which they're fantastic. But I would say they help me out half the time because I like some variability in my eating. But my wife's she's been unbelievable. She'll do some big preps for me during the week. She'll prep things like grass-fed steak. She'll prep organic ground turkey, chicken, eggs, basic stuff. Like, come on, this isn't rocket science. Like, I'm not a big fish eater, but when I go out to good spots, I know have like a good wild fish. My buddy's restaurant always has like wild salmon. I'll get something like that. And as for my vegetables, anything green, any roughage. As for my carbohydrates, I'm really a big sweet potato guy. I still consume like a jasmine rice. I'm not a big brown rice guy. I just don't like the taste of it. A little bit of quinoa, a little bit of fruit, maybe berries once a day, and fats. I mean, fats have been a big key for me in staying satiated. Yeah. People are really scared of adding them, and I like, I'll cook with avocado oil, I'll cook with coconut oil, some olive oil. These fats are really important for me to stay full. Yeah. They're important for my hormones, and even though it might seem like you're eating more and consuming more calories, and we're going to go back to the word macronutrients, might be higher than you're used to having, because you're satiated and you're not starving and you're not going to have these crazy cravings when you come in at night. You're not going to be grabbing the bag of chips. So I think there's certain tricks and there's certain rules. Like we get rid of all junk from the house. Like when I want to go eat junk, I go buy it. Like when I want ice cream, I'm like, all right, honey, it's Sunday or Saturday. Let's cook a dinner tonight. And I'm buying like a big tub, 2 tubs of organic ice cream with like cookies, and I'm crushing them on there and I'm eating them. It's my favorite thing to eat. So, I don't keep it around me to where if I ever have that moment, which I don't have many of them, I'm not going to dive in. But, there's little tricks that you do, and there's things that you do to really kind of keep you on the path.
Yeah, no, that's the same thing we do. Like it's, I don't know, some of this stuff is just, it's not complicated. It's really actually pretty simple. It's just getting to wrap your head around the idea that it's not complicated. I think is pretty tough for people.
Well, I think unfortunately, and we have an obligation as fitness professionals, and you're obviously very smart at what you do, and you know this very well. So I'm not telling you anything you don't know. Everything I'm saying to you is a reiteration, but I'm almost disappointed. It still feels good to hear. It's one of those things where I'm almost like, I'm a little embarrassed by a lot of the influencers out there, and I say, like, when you look, I'm a coach. Even though I'm a business person, I'll always be a coach. Yeah. God willing, if I'm worth $1 billion one day, I'll still call myself a coach because that's where I was bred. Right. But you see these influencers out there, and they're just putting what they do for themselves, and that's fine. But they're saying it's a one-size-fits-all thing, and will this work for me? And I train 90 minutes a day, 6 days a week, and I eat perfectly, and I eat only this, or I do intermittent fasting, and this is how I look. And, that's unfair because you're setting someone up who may not have that same love or passion for the gym. You're setting them up for failure. I know for a fact that if you took someone out who didn't step 1 foot into the gym last year or 1 foot into a healthy lifestyle last year, and we had them break a sweat for 5 to 10 minutes a day, 5 to 6 days a week, they're going to see progress.
Right. That's like the Dan John, just have him play Frisbee for 10 minutes a day.
Perfect. And I love it. I'm like, I don't care what you're doing. Have sex, go for a walk up the stairs, do whatever you have to do to break that sweat. It gets your mind into this good place where suddenly you're like, wow, I couldn't get up 2 flights of steps without huffing and puffing. Now I'm getting up 5. I wonder what's going to be like at 6. And then people start playing. That's why I love like Fitbits, like these pedometers that people are like, oh, that's not. I love them because it's taking general pop and it's giving them a quantifiable measure. When I take my client, Laura Summers, who when I started working with was 872 pounds.
I was going to ask you about her.
Yeah, 872. And she just weighed in this morning, I think at 405. And taken 3 years. And I'm really happy with that. That hasn't taken it. No, I didn't want it in 6 months.
400 pounds. Like
400 pounds. It's a lot of weight.
It's a lot
of weight. But how are we doing this? We're doing it by steps.
Yeah.
She's walking, and she has a very limited budget, so we have to do this off a very revised diet. And she's not eating organic foods, but we have her doing it by just better decisions, getting rid of the junk, and walking every day, and keeping track of her steps. And she's losing weight every week.
That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
And the way that she's stuck to it too, it's just I'm
trying to relax her. I'm trying to relax her at this point. She's like, because she's doing it so much. Her body at times she'll wake up, my knees are sore, my back's sore. I'm like, well, how many steps have you walked? She'd tell me, I'd be like, well, let's cut it in half today.
Right.
And we never want to take a day off. We always want to keep her moving because of her head. But last January, she had this incredible streak going of like 200 or 300 straight days, and she got really sick. She's like, what do I do? I'm like, go to sleep. She's like, but I'm going to lose my streak. I said, you're right, and you're going to start it back tomorrow. There's a message to the story. And every week she posts a sign that says like day 187. The next week, like day 190 something. And it was like every week you saw how many days she's up to. And she woke up like Jan 2nd, Jan 3rd, and she's holding a sign that said number 1 on it.
Oh, really?
And I loved it. I fucking loved it. It got me so geeked up. I looked at her. I'm like, do you understand the message this just said? This just stated, because this wasn't showing. Write down why you had to cancel. Write down why you're not feeling good. Write down how you had to take a day rest. And turn around and say, but I'm getting back on the horse.
Yeah.
And we have to look at life like this, no matter what it is, whether it's your business, a new beginning, getting off your fitness plan. Let's do what we do because we love it, we're passionate about it, and we want to improve, and let's just take it day by day.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. That's it's a pretty amazing story. I mean, like I remember seeing her up there, and you introduced her, and she said how much she weighed, and then you're like, "Where did you start, though?"
Yeah,
and
where are we going to? She's like, "Where are we taking this?" I'm like, "Let's."
What she said? She wants to break 200. Is that what it was?
She wants to break 200. She has that number in her head, and then I said, after that, we're going to start calming down. Because even now, I don't let her weigh herself every day. At first, I look at once a week. It's Monday. Yeah. She gets her Monday weigh-in. I get her message Monday morning. It's like clockwork. And she had a couple of, obviously she's got her friendly, her friend comes every month, like with every woman. And she's, there's variability that goes on there. And there's certain weeks she's turned around. She's like, I gained a half a pound, I gained a pound. And I'm like, okay. And she's just like, well, isn't that bad? Are you upset? I'm like, no, that's what's supposed to happen. That's life. I'm like, stop stressing about it and watch what happens. And then she'd have her period and she'd actually lose some weight. She's like, oh my God, I'm not gaining weight anymore. I'm like, because you're not stressed out. Like, relax, like, enjoy this process. And
that's just more reason to only do it once a week, to only step on that scale once a week. You step on the scale twice a day or even once a day. So it's like, even if you did lose 5 pounds in that week, it doesn't seem like 5 pounds. It seems like nothing. It seems like you're not making any progress.
It's funny. It's like a lot of trainers out there are terrible business people, and a lot of business people out there are terrible at fitness.
Yeah.
And it's the same principles. I tell them, like, I turn to one of my clients who's incredibly successful, and I'm like, listen, when you wanted to make your first, $1 million or $10 million, did you sit there dwelling over making $1 million? Did you think every day I got to make $1 million? He goes, no, I set the plan and I did what I had to do every day to achieve the plan. I go, exactly. Look at what you just said. What did you just say? He goes, I set the plan and I did what I had to do every day to achieve that plan. I go, and did it go your way every day? He goes, of course it didn't. Yeah. I go, okay, listen to what you're saying. It's the same principles in business as it is in nutrition.
Yeah.
The good thing about this is I believe what you put into this is what you're going to get out of this. I think, like, listen, if you're going to eat like shit, okay, you know what? The bank account ain't going to grow. But if we put our time in and it's gonna elevate, the bank account's gonna elevate, it's gonna come down a little bit. It's gonna be this cycle, but I think we're gonna go north. I think we're gonna go in a good direction.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it too. Like, just put it in perspective. Like, you set a plan, you stick to it.
Yeah,
and maybe you redirect at times.
So, especially with programming, in the beginning when halfway into my career when we really started getting into like. I remember I learned about periodization, reading books on Tudor Bompa back in like 1995 and these guys early on. But I remember at a certain point in my career, I started trying to map out that year for the athletes.
Yeah.
Like where our cycle's gonna be. And now like I lay out my plan in my head, but I almost don't want to show the plan to the athlete. I almost present them to them in every block because things are gonna change. Like what happens when my client Morgan Hoffman on the PGA Tour might catch a cold and he's in Malaysia and he flies back and he's wiped out for a week. Am I going to put him into a bad mindset because we had to deviate off that program? Like his flight gets delayed 5 hours and then we have to hit a PR the next day. Like give me a break. Like
you just get him injured. You just get him injured up. Yeah. It's like some days we have a certain number of younger trainer and coaches out here that work a grit, and like sometimes it's like, guys, you got to realize like sometimes you're gonna come in and you're gonna pull you're not gonna pull 405, you're gonna pull 135.
Sure.
So there's nothing wrong with that. You're gonna do 4 sets of 135 and call it a day.
I love it.
They're like, what are you talking about? That's crazy. It's like, dude, like just you'll see.
Yeah, watch. I'm taking 2 weeks off. Why? I mean, there's a reason that no one has ever, anyone listening to this, no human being has ever won the battle. No one can beat the system. When I say the system, I mean if you believe in a higher power upstairs, your health, whatever it is. But when you get sick and you get injured, things become real. Yeah. And that's life telling you something. And no one, I don't. You see these athletes who, guys like Lyle Alzado, who at one point are killing people on the football field, and then they're diagnosed with cancer. You're watching them go down in a several week or month span. Wow, you just took one of the deadliest guys on the football field and just showed how resilient, the human body really is. I mean, it's not as resilient as we think.
Yeah, no kidding. Like one little thing, one little tweak. Yeah.
Set everything off.
Yeah, I say it all the time, but like you can't submit your body to your will and keep thinking it's going to give you what you want. Like, it's a coaxing. It's not a submission for sure.
Agreed.
But well, Don, we're a little bit over on time, but man, that was so cool.
No, it's awesome, man. Like I said, I could have talked to you for hours here. So
I could
totally
too.
Appreciate it. And listen, do me a favor when you're up in the New York area, come into the gym and let's get a workout in together.
I definitely will. Yeah. Maybe I'll be crawling out of there. Like,
sounds good.
But where can they find you before we hop off the call?
Definitely. My Instagram is pretty easy. Don Saladino, DonSaladino. Otherwise, if you go to that page, you can pretty much find, where I am, my contact information. You can DM me if you have any questions. Yeah. And my club's Drive 495 in New York City.
Yeah, and I'll tag you in this post too, and I'll put something up on Instagram so that people can see it. But
let me know. Get me the assets because I'll put it up on my page for you. All right.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely. But thanks for being here, man. Really appreciate it. I know you're a busy guy. Got to get going, but
don't worry, brother. It was an honor being on. Thanks again.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll end this right there, guys. This is Don Saladino. Please like, comment, share. This is epic, and make sure to watch this one a couple times because that was dynamite. But
awesome stuff. Let's do it again. Take care, brother.
You too.
I gotta go. I will talk to you. I got a call coming in later.